Right, this is a test of the navigator. So I've put in the navigation system. I've put Torquay, and then it should take me
turn left
to the M1. Right, now it's first of all it said turn left, and it's a right. The bypass is about 300 meters away, and it's told me to turn left. Right, so we're now driving towards the bypass, which is 2 minutes away.
In 200 yards, keep left toward Manchester, then take the first left.
Right, so that's the second problem. Now now it wants to take me onto the bypass in the wrong direction, away from the M1 towards Manchester, which is
keep left toward Manchester,
yeah,
then take the first left.
which is ridiculous.
Turn left onto the A616. In 200 yards, turn left onto Sowley Lane, then take the first right.
So the bypass this is the bridge for the bypass, and now it's taking me next left.
Turn left onto Sowley Lane, then
Right.
take the first right.
And just there is the bypass.
Turn right.
That bypass has been there 25 years. Now I know this area like the back of my hand because I've walked everywhere in it, cycled from being at school. This road here that I'm on now, it has, I mean, of course you use it because there's farms and all sorts around here, but you just wouldn't use it to go anywhere. So there's a couple of things. First of all, the navigator wants to take me to Manchester. Now I'm in North Sheffield, so that's about 40 miles away. And then presumably it wants to put me onto the M6.
Street, turn right.
Right, okay, so now it's saying turn right. Now that's going to get me closer to the bypass. I don't know where it's going to take me after that. I'm assuming it's going to take me left.
At the end of the street, turn right.
All right. Okay, so it's the only people that use this road are the people that either live here or on the farms these days, or if you're just taking, you know, occasionally I might use it if there's traffic, heavy traffic. But yeah, the bypass itself, it just goes straight to the M1, to junction 35A, which is the easiest route to get to Torquay. And by the way, it takes you very strange routes even if you set it locally. This is just you know, I just know that it always takes me wrong. Now if I didn't know where I was going, it would take me through, presumably across the Woodhead Pass, which is a
300 yards, turn right onto the A629.
Right, so that would correct it, but I can already see by looking at it, it still isn't going to take me onto the bypass. It's going to take me towards Sheffield, and then presumably somewhere along that road. I don't know what it's going to do.
Turn right onto the A629.
And I'm not going to find out either. People speed on this road, so you've got to be careful because it's blind. There's a hump and you can't see what's going on. Right, now here I will turn here now to get onto the bypass. We're just about to cross the bypass, so it's taken me miles round, but because obviously I don't want to go to the M1, but it's not even taking me on. Right, so this is the bypass here, and I can get onto it, and then, but I can't turn right here, so I would have had to take the earlier turn in about 100 yards earlier.
Turn left.
So it's telling me to turn left now because you can't turn right. So at least it's got that right. But I wouldn't put money on it that it would continue to do that.
A616.
Right, so this is the bypass that I should have come up rather than this convoluted route around the countryside. And it's set for the quickest route, blah blah blah. I've been through these settings about 20 times and none of it makes any difference. And this is the bypass that it should have brought me up this direction. And it's literally 5 minutes to the M1. It started off, it wants to take me to Manchester, which is a long, you have to go north, probably 15 miles, across one of the worst, unless it takes me to the M62, which is then 50 miles away. The worst route across the Pennines, the Woodhead Pass, which is frequently closed for accidents or bad weather or whatever. And that's it looks like it wants to take me then through Manchester and then somehow get onto the M6, I guess. This is absolutely a waste of time. It had 80-90 miles onto the journey. So this is the bypass that I should have got on, going in the opposite direction. And I'll just show you where that is now. So where it took me left into the countryside over there, that's the junction coming up now. That's this junction. I'm going to do a bit of shopping, so I'm not coming off, but it's the very same junction. So where it told me to turn off, I would have come come out onto this junction here, and then it's a 5-10 minute drive to the M1. Now it's actually still indicating for me to go, if I look at it, I'm sorry I can't show you this, it's indicating me to go to Manchester, which is on this road for ages. It's usually heavy traffic. It's normally it's 2-lane traffic actually. Once you get across this bypass, it's down to 2-lane traffic, and as you can see there's a lot of lorries, and they will be going to Manchester because it's the quickest route.
At the roundabout, take the second exit to the A616.
Right, so it's telling me to stay on this route and I will end up in Manchester when the M1's 3 miles away. So the total journey when I normally go to Torquay is 285 miles. This is taking me north, then through Manchester, which will be extremely busy, and it always is when I've been there anyway, and then onto the M6, then onto the M5. It just couldn't
take the second exit to the A616.
It just couldn't be a worse route, and it defies logic that it even attempts to do that. Right, so this is kind of finished now, but it's just an it's one example.
1.5 mile on Fox Valley Way, then turn right.
And now what it wants to do is, I go down to the main road in my town, and then it wants me to turn right, which then rejoins that bypass along normal B roads, I guess, to carry on taking me to Manchester. So it just doesn't have a clue where I am and where I need to go. And if I ignored it and went on to the M1, which is what I do normally, it wants to take me to the M25. So it's not like...
In 200 yards, turn right onto Hunshelf Road.
It doesn't, it doesn't correct itself. It just doesn't know where it is or where it's going.
Right onto Hunshelf
It calculates some horrendous route right through Manchester, but like I said, if I'd have carried on to the M1, then it wants to take me to the M25, and then round the worst possible corner of the M25, the northwest corner, where you've got Heathrow Airport,
exit, then take the first right,
and the usual London commuting traffic.
Take the U-turn.
Well, I think I'm going to have to cancel that now. Absolutely useless. Now this is just an example close by to where I live. When I went to Torquay, it takes you down farm track. It took me down farm tracks and all sorts. It's absolutely useless. And I don't like to criticise. But in this case, it's the absolutely worst navigator. I mean, the one I had a Peugeot before, and it was perfect. The first time I went to, the first time I actually went to, oops, I'm not in reverse. The first time I actually went to Torquay was in that car, and I didn't know where I was going. So I did use the nav. It took me exactly the route now that I take every time, but this thing, no, it has no clue whatsoever.